One's ready. One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into Special Warfare Assessment Selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Are we practicing running? Practicing.
I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a keystone just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. This is your daily drop for the 22nd of July, brought to you by Modern Athlete Strength Systems. If you guys head to our website, onesready.com, move over to the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see prep, and then scroll down until you see Modern Athlete Strength Systems. I've hyperlinked a whole bunch of stuff, right? But they have two primary programs that they're working on right now, or not working on, that they have right now for you, which is Warfighter and the Warfighter Elite. The Warfighter Elite is more volume and all that kind of stuff, so there's a lot more that goes into it. But Warfighter is a good program as it is. And they use the Train Heroic app to deliver those workouts to you. You can log in the Train Heroic app and then also message, and they provide substitutions. Like if you don't have a piece of equipment or something like that, you're able to still do something that is similar to the exercise of the movement that you're trying to get after. So if you click on those links, it's going to take you to their site. Still enter the promo code ONESREADY to get yourself a discount. And then also, if you're into something that is almost like life coaching and more intense, then sign up for one of their 90 Days Unchained and let them know that we sent you, and you'll also get a discount in that aspect. So definitely a good program and a good group of people over there. We've had them on the podcast many times. All right. Also, if you guys aren't tracking, we have the Operator Training Summit in Nashville, 25 and 26 October. We still have slots available. If you want to, DM us, email me at jared@onesready.com. We'll get you information up there, how to sign up. If you're active duty, there is a chance, up to your chain of command really, that you might be able to get the Air Force to pay for it or come out permissive TDY. But if you do the same comment, email me or DM us, I can get you that information as well. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. All right, joint news. New F-35 director assumes command at critical program juncture. Marine Corps Lieutenant General Gregory Masillo assumed command of the F-35 Joint Program Office during preparations for transition to the Technology Refresh 3 configuration. This upgrade must be completed before advancing to Block 4 enhancements. The Department of Defense DoD fiscal year, or obviously DoD, fiscal year 2026 budget requests funding for 37 F-35s, down from the previously forecasted 69. Listen, I'm always hesitant to have a Marine talk about aviation, especially when it impacts the Air Force. But yeah, I mean, it's joint, so, we've got to play nice and all that kind of stuff. But the Marines do a lot of things right in a lot of different ways, but they also do some things wrong in a lot of different ways as well. Kind of like the Air Force and the Army. Well, all of them. How about that? All right, Defense Secretary orders Marine redeployment from Los Angeles. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth directed the redeployment of 700 Marines from the Los Angeles County, California. The move signals that lawlessness will not be tolerated, according to the Pentagon officials. 2,000 California National Guardsmen remain deployed to protect Department of Homeland Security property and personnel amid local criticism. Next, Pentagon reviews cloud services to exclude Chinese involvement. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth initiated a review of the DoD networks after an investigation revealed Microsoft permitted Chinese engineers to support them. Actions will ensure no Chinese involvement in cloud services. The review highlighted that oversight mechanisms for foreign employees lack sufficient technical expertise. This is unreal. The amount of regulatory guidance and everything like that that the DoD has, and the checks and balances that they do to make sure that, it's USA made and USA purchased and all that kind of stuff. And out of all the countries in the world that it could have been, we allowed Chinese engineers to deal with the cloud services with Microsoft and DoD. They are notorious for stealing IP as it is, and now this happens. We also allow them to own farmland and buildings and corporations in the United States. Do you think that me or any of you, as an American citizen, would ever be allowed to own farmland, a business, anything like that in China, much less other countries, right? So I can't believe that we're even having this conversation. Map illustrates scope of Pacific DoD exercise. A map details the extent of the DoD Level 1 exercise across the Indo-Pacific region, running through August 8th. It involves approximately 12,000 airmen and 700 guardians at over 50 locations. The exercise enhances readiness to project air power and respond to contingencies in collaboration with allies. Next, DoD Manufacturing Technology Program expands industrial base. The DoD Manufacturing Technology Program supports growth in the U.S. military industrial base through innovation and production capabilities. It focuses on advancing technologies critical for defense needs. Defense Secretary hosts drone demonstration. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth hosted a drone demonstration at the Pentagon on July 10th. The event showcased advancements in uncrewed systems for military applications. Actually, speaking of which, did you guys see the Army posted a video, like a sizzle reel, of them finally getting to the point where they're able to fly drones and drop a grenade like that, and that was the big reveal, and like, oh my god, these soldiers have been working on that. Bro, you guys are so freaking lost, and that's not just shade at the Army. That's a whole bunch of different, the bureaucratic DoD as a whole. Like, it's unbelievable that we're making a big deal that we dropped a grenade from a drone, from a quadcopter, a commercial off-the-shelf drone. Like, dude, we got to get a life. We really do. All right, next. Hegseth welcomes Israeli Prime Minister. We've talked about that before. I don't know why they're still covering that. Hegseth directs reforms for drone procurement. We talked about that last week too, but he issued a memo directing military services to establish active duty units dedicated to expanding drone usage across the DoD by September. The reforms aim to scale uncrewed systems for enhanced operational capabilities. Next, DoD awards contracts. The DoD announced contracts valued at $7.5 million or more. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even say what it was for. Jeez. Oh man, these news articles that Public Affairs is putting out. Jeez. All right. Air Force news. The Air Force to sole source additional KC-46 tankers from Boeing. The United States Air Force will procure up to 75 additional KC-46 tankers directly from Boeing, bypassing competition. This sustains recapitalization of the aging KC-135 fleet. Chief of Staff General David Allen expressed confidence in Boeing's resolution of prior deficiencies. Yeah, man, you guys haven't done great, and I know that, we've got a dude that commented, when I talked about this probably a month or so ago, about, hey, there's a big difference between Boeing Heavies and Boeing Fighters, and the Boeing Fighters are doing great. That may be, right? And I'll buy that, but I mean, the F-15EX hadn't been, procurement and all that kind of stuff hadn't been that great. But for real though, on the heavy side of the house, you guys have got to do better, man. Investigation into B-52 near miss with commercial airline. I saw the audio and the video of this from the captain. Like, I'm interested to see what else comes out about this, because that's kind of wild that you would see out your window a B-52 barreling towards you at the same altitude. It's pretty wild. I also wonder what the B-52 crew said and saw and what they did to avoid, or did they just not see it at all? Anyway, U.S. Air Force officials are examining a near-miss incident between a B-52 and a Delta passenger jet near Minot International Airport. A base spokesperson confirmed the review is underway. Interested to see what comes out from that. Air Force investigating Airman's death at missile base. An airman from the 90th Security Forces Squadron died while on duty at F.E. Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming. Officials conveyed condolences to the family. The event follows a recent report on another airman's fatal Humvee accident. So I'm guessing this was on duty, and, well, yeah, it says on duty, but it doesn't say, like, was it a car crash or anything like that. I know that it says a recent report of another airman's fatal Humvee accident. I'm guessing it must be a similar incident. All right. U.S. Air Force pilots conduct first Pacific interfly in Australian F-35s. 2 U.S. Air Force pilots operated Royal Australian Air Force F-35s during the Talisman Sabre exercise, marking a Pacific first. This ad hoc interfly promotes training on shared systems and boosts interoperability. It expands U.S. Air Force efforts to enhance partner nation capabilities. I think this sounds silly, right? To people that kind of, as an outsider, this sounds really silly, and they're like, hey, what's the big deal? We friggin', had 2 American pilots fly an F-35 that's Australian. Or if we had Australian pilots fly American F-35s, right? Like, it seems simple, and it seems like, yeah, why is this even newsworthy? But with the constraints that the DoD and the security apparatus that the DoD and, intelligence agencies, all that kind of stuff has, we have a habit of over-compartmentalizing information, over-classifying information, and being roadblocks. And when we start talking about operating and doing things in the Pacific and other countries and stuff like that, America's not going to be able to do it by itself. Like, we're going to need, as an example, we're going to need Australia if things pop off in the Pacific, right? And if we're not able to talk to each other at the same level, if we're not able to share information with each other at the same level and help each other out and provide mutual support, then we're going to be operating at a deficit, and it's going to put our folks and their folks in danger. All right, next, Air Force employee pleads guilty to classified information disclosure. A civilian U.S. Air Force employee at the United States Strategic Command, Offutt Air Force Base, pleaded guilty to conspiring to transmit classified national defense information via a foreign dating platform in 2022. The co-conspirator, posing as a Ukrainian woman, solicited details on Russian military activities. Sentencing is set for 8 October. I hope you burn, dude. Air Force updates uniform guidance. The U.S. Air Force revised Department of the Air Force instruction 362903 to clarify dress and appearance standards. Updates includes new rules for boots and other items to ensure consistency. I think it was also nail colors, fingernail colors, and eyebrow extensions, and I'm sure there were other stuff too. All right, Space Force news. Space Force rehearses private satellite mobilization for emergencies. The United States Space Force held a tabletop exercise to test the Commercial Augmentation Space Reserve for assessing civilian satellites during orbital crisis. Conducted at the Space Domain Awareness Tools, Applications, and Processing Lab. It simulated tracking events like satellite breakups. Key challenges include navigating legal and policy barriers. Yeah, no kidding. Whew. All right, Space Force launches largest exercise, Resolute Space 2025. The United States Space Force initiated Resolute Space 2025 on the 8th of July. Its largest exercise involving over 700 Guardians and international partners. It focuses on electromagnetic warfare, orbital warfare, and space domain awareness within a broader department of the Air Force exercise. Chief of Space Operations General Chance Saltzman emphasized it demonstrates readiness to fight and win in space. All right, Space Force unveils international partnership strategy. The U.S. Space Force released an international partnership strategy to foster responsible space behavior. It strengthens collaboration with allies for sustainable operations. Great job, guys. You gave no details on this. Cool. I'm glad that we're strengthening collaborations with our allies. We should have been doing it a long time ago, but there's no details on that. All right, these are of interest. The UK supports Ukraine with 50-day armament drive. The United Kingdom Defense Minister advocated for a 50-day initiative to bolster Ukraine's arms following President Trump's deadline for Russia negotiations. This aims to enhance Ukraine's position at the table. Europe is increasing its defense contributions and aid. Next, passive sensors could enhance air and missile defense. A study proposes networked passive ground-based sensors to improve U.S. air and missile defense through proliferation and resilience. Unlike current high-powered radars vulnerable to detection, these would require a reliable power and communications implementation, Period. Implementation demands further development to align with modern threats. Next, NATO's investment in F-35 capabilities. Nearly half of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, members operate or plan to acquire the F-35 for its advanced fifth-generation features and networked role. Standardization aids maintenance and operations across allies. However, fleet-wide vulnerabilities from shared software or hardware could pose risks. Next, now this is an opinion piece. Hypersonic weapons for Pacific deterrence. Hypersonic weapons support U.S. Indo-Pacific command strategy by enabling rapid strikes against massing forces. They provide time for allied positioning against potential adversaries like China, accelerating the deployment of systems such as the Air-Launched Rapid Response Weapon is recommended to influence calculations. All right, another opinion piece. China's authoritarianism as strategic vulnerability. Authoritarian regimes like China create buffers by annexing neighbors to shield from democratic influences. This isolation breeds tone-deaf governance and instability. Exploiting internal divisions in controlled territories could offer advantages in conflicts. Another opinion piece. Aligning cyber policy with strategic vision, the U.S. must pursue aggressive cyber campaigning to counter pacing threats in cyberspace and information domains. Maintaining initiative prevents ceding advantage. This continues prior administration approaches to focus on persistence and control. Next, Marine participates in Indo-Pacific Strengthening Mission. The United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal, dude, there is no way I'm going to pronounce your name right, Nimwis Masang from Palau, supports COA Mona 25 as a legal specialist. The mission reinforces partnerships in the Indo-Pacific. Right on, Lance Corporal. Washington National Guard prepares for wildfire season. Washington Army National Guard aviation crews trained with local fire services on water bucket operations. This enhances readiness for community protection during wildfires. I'm guessing this has got to be Washington State, not Washington, D.C., because there were, 4 years ago? Something like that. There were some pretty bad wildfires out there in Washington State. So I got to imagine that that's what it's talking about. DoD emphasizes hurricane preparedness. The DoD is prepared to assist civilian authorities during hurricane season. Individual and community preparation is highlighted as essential. Of course it is, and the DoD is always ready to help out during a hurricane. I mean, you know, we've done it in, we've done it in Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, New Orleans, all over Louisiana. We did it up in North Carolina recently. We did it out in California, in Malibu recently. We did it in Texas. It's constant. You know, we are ready. And to give you an example is when a hurricane is coming in and there happens to be a base near there, right, and it's expected to hit the base, we will evacuate the base and evacuate the planes or button up the hatches and stuff like that. But we also leave a what we, at least on the special tactics side of it, called a ride-out team. And they are a group of dudes that are trained, you know, they're usually PJs, controllers, SR, TAC-Ps, that are going to be at the base, and they've got boats, motors, fuel, food, water, trucks, just supplies available and ready so that once the hurricane hits or as it's hitting, they're able to jump to and start helping people out. So we are always ready. Coast Guard responds to Texas flooding. United States Coast Guard, actually, we already covered that. Let's see. Man, it's just a bunch of repeat. They didn't do that much. Okay, so these are two new ones. Marine and Navy conduct flight operations training. Marines from the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit and the USS San Antonio sailors practice flight operations in the Atlantic. This refines tactics for seamless lethality. Good. Right on, man. It's normal day training. All right. Last, DoD backs rare earth production. Materials received, MP materials, I don't know what MP materials is, must be an organization, received DoD support for expanding rare earth mining and processing in California and Texas. This bolsters domestic supply chains for defense technologies. Okay, so sorry about all the repeats. I wasn't really tracking those. I will do better to get those out. With that said, we've been doing this, I think we're on like 73 or 74 or something like that of these daily drops. I try and put them out Monday through Friday if I'm able to get the time, but two, get the public affairs report, because they don't always drop them every single day. But what are some things that you guys would like to see changed or done a little bit differently, so that I can adjust, so I can make it worth your while? If the answer is just keep doing it the exact way I'm doing it, like, I'm happy to do that as well. I just want to know, because I want to make it value added to your day and give you something to listen to on your commute in, to update you on the news, or just fill you in on what the Air Force, DoD, and the Joint Force as a whole is doing. So, all right, we're out here. See you!